What is up, everybody? This is your boy Jalen of Shadow Sports. I do not have my partners with me today as they are doing other things as they're busy today. But I decided to come on here and give you all a quick rundown of what's been happening in the sports world because over the past few days, there's been a lot of headlines and a lot of news that's been happening with all sports. So we're going to start off with the World Series, Game 5. Uh, it was stellar last night. We had Justin Verlander have 6 Ks. Like I said, if he had 6 Ks and did a lot well and kept them homers off the board, they should win. I was correct on that. He had exactly 6 Ks, and I mean he kept the Phillies at bay. I mean he really had that Philadelphia Phillies team all on cold streaks. I mean, they were already cold from Game 4 when Christian Javier threw a combined no hitter with all of his bullpen arms. So they were coming in, they were going to be aggressive. And on the second pitch of the game, in Game 5, Justin Verlander had got taken yard by Kyle Schwarber. So with that, I mean, Kyle Schwarber was, I mean, you can't throw that pitch there. It was up and in, bat turn and sent it out. Had Philadelphia and Citizens Bank Field just rocking. As we get on, he only got better. He had 4 walks in his outing of 5 innings. He only threw 94 pitches, and he did allow a couple hits. I think he allowed a hit or so. I believe so. If I'm not wrong, check that for me if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, he went 5 strong. He did exactly what he needed to do in order for them to come away with that dub. Um, Later on in the game, they had got some insurance run with Altuve scoring on an error by Rhys Hoskins from the bat of Yordan Alvarez. And as well, the bullpen came in, gave up 1 run out of those 4 innings that he came in, that Justin Verlander came out and sat down with. So, they got that insurance one, 1-3-1. The series is now Astros 3-2. Game 6 will be Saturday, tomorrow at 8:04 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. And you got Framber Valdez, Zach Wheeler. And if you're an Astros fan, you don't want nobody else on that mound tomorrow rather than Framber Valdez. So that's all with baseball. We're going to go to basketball now with Milwaukee. Now we're going to go to NBA. The NBA has only gotten, a lot better, and there's been some interesting things that's been happening in the NBA as well. The Milwaukee Bucks are 7-0. Giannis Antetokounmpo had another 30-10 night on Wednesday, November 2nd. He dropped 32 points and had 12 rebounds, along with Jrue Holiday come up with 26 points, hit 4 threes, have 7 rebounds. They won that game against the Detroit Pistons 116-91, and they are undefeated on the regular season. So far, they are 7-0. We're going to have another 30-point game by Luka Doncic, 30-plus point game by Luka Doncic. This is 5 games in a row. Yeah, this is 5 games in a row of having 30 or more. He's averaging 36.1 on the season, averaging 9 assists and 8.9 rebounds a game. He is practically almost averaging a triple double. So right now, for me personally, I believe he could be leading for the MVP candidate. I mean, you can always say Giannis is doing it because their team is 7-0 and everything like that, but this man Luka is without Luka on Dallas is not good. And with Luka Doncic averaging 36.1 and have 5 straight games with 30-plus points or more, you can't really say nothing about that. I mean, they're 4-3 on the season. Yes, it's early, but they did beat the Utah Jazz, who were 6-3, coming in 6-3. Let's go into other news. The Bulls win 2 straight as they win 106-88 on Wednesday. The leading scorer for the Chicago Bulls in that game was Javonte Green off of the bench. He came off the bench and scored 17 points. DeMar DeRozan only had a season low of 9 points. He didn't even touch double figures on Wednesday night as they beat the Hornets beat the Hornets preferably really good, 106-88, as they move to 5-4 in the season as well. The Cavaliers, yes, I said it. The Cavaliers are 6-1. The Cavaliers are here to stay. Donovan Mitchell had a good 25 points and 6 assists. But this isn't what this game is about, though. Darius Garland has come back from injury, and he dropped 29 points and had 12 assists. This game was all Darius Garland. The whole team, the whole starters, all 5 starters had 10-plus points or more. That goes to show you that they are really something here, and they're really special. Jarrett Allen had 14 points and 14 rebounds. Yes, I said that. 14 rebounds. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about that, about what the Cavaliers are doing. They are here to stay. They go to overtime with Jason Tatum coming up with a big block in regulation. Let me correct myself. Jason Tatum had come up with a big block in regulation as he blocked Donovan Mitchell's shot, and they sent it to OT. In overtime, the Cavaliers didn't look back. They went and win 114-113 on Wednesday night as well. The Lakers, yes, the Lakers find a way to squeeze out a W. Yes, I said it. The Lakers find a way to squeeze out a W. They win 120-117 as they move to their second win on the season. And the leading scorer for the Los Angeles Lakers was Lonnie Walker. 28 points he had, and LeBron and AD both had 20 points, and both of them had together 26 rebounds between the two. Anthony Davis had 16 rebounds. LeBron James had 10 rebounds. I am now accompanied by Donovan on the cast. He is now on the podcast now. Well, he's having some technical things to get together. I'm going to give you a rundown of what Patrick Beverley has done. Patrick Beverley has been really non-existent on the offensive end. He had 0 points in this game, and they shot 27.8% from 3. Matt Ryan come along in the corner as closing seconds happen and hit a game-tying 3 to send the game into overtime as the Lakers win 120-117. And I couldn't tell you more that the guy that was on the free throw block, yes, free throws are very important. And it goes to show you that, I mean, if you have free throws, you need to make them. What's his name? Dyson Daniels went 0 for 2 from the free throw line as the Lakers capitalize on the other end as Matt Ryan hits a 3 in the corner. So now I'm accompanied by Donovan right now. The other guys right now, I believe are busy. So what's going on, Donovan? How are you? We'll give him a few minutes to get everything situated. He just got on. But I'm going to continue with that game. Zion Williamson. Yes, Zion Williamson had 27 points and 7 assists. He did have 5 fouls, so he had to sit down for a couple minutes in the fourth quarter as he got picked up his 5th foul, fouling Anthony Davis, and he had to go sit down. Now, it hurts a lot because if they would have had him down the stretch, they couldn't stop Zion. They couldn't stop Zion at all. I mean, he couldn't be stopped one bit against the Lakers on Wednesday. CJ McCollum added 22 points and 8 assists with 9 rebounds. So the Lakers get their second win, and we do have Donovan in the building. So
sorry about that.
You're good. You're good. What's going on, man?
Not much, really. Still trying to recover from last night.
Yeah, well, the Lakers got 2 wins now, so What do you want to say about that? They shot 27% for three as well, like they always been doing, been terrible from the three, but they find a way to win. What does that show you about it?
They have to fix their shooting. Every single one of them needs to go in the gym for about 10 hours and stand right at the 3-point line and put the shooting gun up and just shoot. I mean, not much else to say about their shooting percentage. It's good they got the win, but yeah, that's ridiculous. 27% is ridiculous. They definitely need some help on that end. I heard you say Pat Beverly no points, but they didn't sign him to score. So I'm not really, that doesn't shock me really. He's a defensive guy. He's been a defensive guy his whole career. He can score. We've seen that he is able to score, but that's not why the Lakers signed him. So that's my thoughts on the Lakers. I mean, they seem to be a recurring theme on our podcast here, and it's because they have the most star power out of any team in the NBA. They can't seem to figure it out and win. So Lakers are. I think that this year should have been a championship or bust year for them, and it's looking like a bust.
Definitely. So. What do you think? I'm going to jump back into baseball real quick as we got Donovan here still, or Donovan with us. The Philadelphia Phillies lose 2 straight on Citizens Bank. Now, I remember a lot of people telling me that the Phillies cannot lose in Philly. They just don't lose in Philly. I kept telling people the Astros are a different team. Their pitching is elite. Their pitching is something that we have never seen before in a postseason roster, rather in a regular season. This is the deepest pitching staff I have ever seen in my lifetime. Now, I'm not sure about anybody else's lifetime that's watching this cast, but this is the deepest pitching staff I have ever seen, from top to the ace, all the way to bottom from closer. Now, what do you think happened with the Phillies over these past 2 games? Game 4 and game 3 and game 4.
Well, game 3.
No, game 4 and game 5. Yeah.
Sorry. Game 4 really was. I mean, as you put it, they have the Astros have a very deep bullpen, and they have a very good pitching staff in general. I mean, you don't throw a no-hitter in the World Series, a combined no-hitter. Let me put it that way: a combined no-hitter in the World Series without having that. So that is, that game kind of speaks for itself. Game 5 last night, I'll be honest, I didn't really watch a whole lot, but I did see what the final score was. So I don't know. I can't really speak for that. Right. But what I can say is that I'm going to – I told this to DC last night when he told me the game was on. I said, if the Astros win tonight, it's over. Astros are winning the World Series. Whether it's in Game 6 or Game 7, they're winning. Phillies just in the World Series at that level, you can't lose 2 straight at home.
No, let alone lose. Now, if you lost 2, that's different by saying, okay, you lost Game 3 and then you lost Game 5. But you lost back-to-back games
at
home, and there was little to no production. That's the thing. There was little to no production from them at all. They were KN. Yes, they got walks. And yes, Bryce Harper had majority of those walks, but that goes to show you their lineup, and that goes to show you how they're hitting. I'll read you off something about their lineup real quick. Their lineup, they only have one guy hitting over 250 in this lineup. Let me go back and show. Let me show you. Let me tell you something. Okay, the Phillies lineup: Kyle Schwarber, batting 212. Rhys Hoskins, batting an abysmal 169. Real Muto, 210. Now get it. Rhys Hoskins is batting in the second spot. So he's batting an abysmal 169 average. He went 0 for 5 with 4 Ks. Get that. He had 4 strikeouts. Okay. We're going to move to Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is obviously the MVP on their team. Obviously, Bryce Harper is a MVP caliber baseball player. He batting 373. So we're going to say that he's actually the Phillies offense. He is their offense, really. That's to me. Nick Castellanos, 197. Alec Bohm, 218. Bryson Stott, a god-awful 140. He's batting under 150. Gene Segura, 226. Brandon Marsh, 184. Those are postseason batting averages, not regular season. Those are postseason throughout from game 1 of the wild card all the way until now of this World Series. That's their postseason batting average. That goes to show you the long ball wins them games. If you take away their long ball, you beat them. It's that simple. I mean, you take away their long ball, you beat them. They had 1 home run in the past 2 or 3 games, they had 1 home, in the past 2 games, 1 home run. They just went off in game 3, obviously. We all seen that. I mean, they had 7 runs and 5 bombs, but I think Lance McCullers, they say he was tipping pitches, but I don't believe it. I just believe they just hit him and they knew his plan. And him coming back from injury, he not having a whole lot of starts a whole season and all that, whatever. You could say that he just wasn't there and he wasn't ready. Now, when you go now game 4 is where you need to step up and, take control because you at home, you up 2-1, you get no hit. Okay, fine. Fine. You come back the next day, you got to take, now you have to fight because if you lose, you go back to Houston for 2, at best 2 out of 3. Well, really the best 1 out of 2 in Houston if you lose that game. They lost. And it goes to show you, like I was telling people, the Houston Astros pitching rotation is real. Their pitching depth is real from top to bottom. I told people, Justin Verlander has 6 Ks and limits damage and gets out of trouble. It's going to be a long night for the Phillies. And what happened? He got the bases loaded. 2 outs, though. You got to come up clutch. He got out with a strikeout. More confidence building. Walked another guy and then gave up a single. Okay. First and second. Still 2 outs. Comes up and gets a fly ball. More confidence building. Justin Verlander is the type of pitcher that gets better as the game goes. That's what I'm trying to tell people. You cannot sleep on, Justin Verlander's World Series stuff sucks and all of that. Throw all that out the window. He already did. He wasn't the best in game 1. You really think he's going to do that again in game 5? He's an ace and he's a Hall of Fame pitcher for a reason. He showed it, and, we're going to Houston 3-2. The White Sox signed a new manager. The White Sox has signed their new manager. What's his name? Pedro Grifol. So they're trying to change their culture a little bit. I think they should have stayed with their bench coach, like, the coach that they had. But that's just me. I mean, I don't like Tony La Russa, no, but I like the other guy that stepped in for the interim role when Tony La Russa got sick. I just believe that they should have just stayed with that guy. I mean, they were starting to get hot with him. Cubs, Ian Happ wins his first Gold Glove for the regular season, for his first ever Gold Glove in left field. And Jeremy Pena is the first rookie to have a home run in the World Series, and he's a Gold Glover. So is Kyle Tucker and JT Realmuto. So that goes to show you right there. Jeremy Pena is most likely 9 times out of 10. If they win this series, he will be, to me, he will be World Series MVP. So everybody's waiting for me to get into football. So we're going to jump right into NFL. It's going to go right to trades. Christian McCaffrey trade. That trade, it was a B. It was a B for both sides. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers received Christian McCaffrey, and the Carolina Panthers received a 2023 second-round pick, a 2023 third-round pick, a 2023 fourth round pick and a 2024 fifth round pick. So what do you think about that trade? I mean, he was already, the minute he stepped onto the field with the 49ers, he was already instant impact. And this past weekend, he showed that, well, they can be real Super Bowl contenders with him on the floor, want him on the field.
Yeah, no, definitely. Panthers have been rebuilding lately. Don't know if anybody's noticed that or not. And so we can't really, in my opinion, we can't really grade that trade just yet. And I say that because it was for picks. And so we need to see what Carolina gets out of those two picks. Right. You said it was two picks, right?
Yeah, it's 4 picks, but
4 picks.
2020,
Okay.
yeah. In 2023, they get 3 picks in that draft, though, from the Panthers.
So, I mean, yeah, I would say that as of right this minute, 49ers definitely came out on top on that trade. But we, like I said, we have to see what the Panthers are able to scrub up in the draft, and hopefully they get something good out of it because they need it. They've been awful since Cam Newton started going crazy. So that's how I feel on that trade, and that's really how I feel on any trade that involves picks, and you can grade it left and right. But I think definitely for the Panthers, that trade was in their best interest, just because they are rebuilding and they need as many picks as they can get so they can build up that young roster.
Now the Roquan Smith trade. Now we got a trade between the Baltimore Ravens and the Chicago Bears. Lord, I don't know why you did this, but my heart is broken. But Roquan Smith is now a Baltimore Raven, sadly, and the Bears have received AJ Clean, 2023 second round pick, and 2023 fifth round pick. Now they're grading that trade as a B+ for the Bears and a B- for the Ravens. I believe that, I mean, it could have been a fair, even trade. I mean, the Bears are stacking up on picks, and they're not all the way ready to contend right now. So they might as well just start their rebuild. And they got a linebacker as well as AJ Clean as well. They're filling the gap right now. So, it's not the worst trade, and it definitely, isn't like, oh my God, that trade just won us the entire NFL. Like, it won us the Super Bowl, but we won't know that until next year. They get 2 picks for the 2023 draft from the Ravens and AJ Clean. So what do you think about that one?
I don't know. It's Roquan Smith. Isn't this his second time being traded this season in 2 weeks? Or am I confusing him with someone else?
Yeah, Roquan Smith had one of his great friends, not Bradley Chubb, had a guy traded from the Bears to the Eagles.
That's right. Okay, yeah. That's where I remember seeing his name. But yeah,
Robert Quinn. That's it.
That's what I was thinking of. I don't know much about the players, so I think I'm going to have to go with ESPN and say that. It was
a fair trade.
It was a relatively fair trade. So, I don't think one team really excelled, but that team didn't get screwed over either. So, yeah.
Got one more. Got another one. Actually, got a couple more. Got another one. Bradley Chubb going to the Dolphins. That also broke my heart. I'm a Broncos fan as well, so I'm ready to run through a wall right about now with these teams breaking me up. But Bradley Chubb is now a Miami Dolphin, and the Broncos have sent the Dolphins a 2025 fifth round pick. The Broncos received Chase Edmonds from the Dolphins, a 2023 first round pick via the 49ers, and a 2024 fourth round pick. They are grading this trade a B for the Miami Dolphins and a A- for the Denver Broncos. Whew. Wow. An A-.
Yeah, I mean they really didn't give much up for that one. I mean, and I say give much up. I mean, obviously they gave up Bradley Chubb, but um, I mean a fifth round draft pick isn't. It's not much. I mean, they might get a lineman out of it,
True.
but
I mean,
that's normally what's going in the fifth
the
round.
Denver Broncos have gotten Chase Edmonds out of that deal, which is good for them because they're running, but our star running back, Javante. What is his name, man? And I have to do a lot more research on that stuff. I mean,
Glad I'm not the only one.
yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean, it's a lot of names you got to remember. Hold on, let me think 1 second. It's Javante. Oh, Javante Williams. That's it. Javante Williams from the Denver Broncos. So, I mean, he's hurting right now. He messed up his knee. Chase Edmonds is now the lead back for us. And that goes to show you right there. I mean, they're saying that the Broncos won that trade by having an A- because the fact that Chubb was close to contact extension boosts the grade up a bit for Miami. But Chubb also he had a resurgence and had an injury with streaks of missing 10 games. So he had a couple of injuries, but weren't major injuries, had a couple of injuries, and he's been with them forever. So I think he was ready to contend, and they say, you know what, might as well clean slate. We got another DB. I mean, not a DB. We got another defensive lineman starting to step up a little more. You know, he's actually starting to step up. So he had a good game against who did they play on Monday? Who did the Broncos play on Monday? Was it the Jets? Because it was last weekend. It was the Jets. It was a J team. The Jaguars. They played the Jaguars last weekend, and the defensive linemen started stepping up. D-line they all started stepping up. So they said, you know what? They're all doing this well. We can, lose a Bradley Chubb and gain something for our running back game because let's just face it, Russell Wilson needs a good running back to be able to throw the ball well like he does. He's good in play action. He's not always good just standing there in shotgun. He's good taking the ball under center and making plays with his legs or fake handoff play action. That's what Russell Wilson's game is, and they didn't have a running back to do that. So, yes, that's that trade. We have another Bears trade. The Bears had traded a 2023 second-round pick for wide receiver Chase Claypool from the Steelers. That gives Jesus Christ. Justin Fields, man. Justin Fields. I'm off today. It's giving Justin Fields another weapon down there in a passing game. So he already had Darnell Mooney down there. Darnell Mooney, let's just face it, he's not a number one wide receiver. He's a really good wide receiver. Don't get it twisted. But he's not a number one wide receiver. I'm not saying Chase Claypool is that either, but Chase Claypool has a little more background as, getting those kind of targets. So when you think about that one, I mean, they're giving the Bears a C+ for their end, and they're giving a B for the Steelers because the Steelers suck. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of movement the Steelers make, I mean, it's good for them, in my opinion. Obviously, whatever they had isn't working. I mean, giving away Chase Claypool, though, I mean, I don't think he's a number one wide receiver,
No.
but I know he is a very good wide receiver. So I know that is going to be a tough loss for the Steelers, but I mean, at the end of the day, they have they have to do something because they're not winning very well.
Yeah, because the Steelers had lost Ben Roethlisberger, their quarterback. Okay, they're trying to find that. They had lost Juju Smith-Schuster to Kansas City. So with him being gone, Ben Roethlisberger being gone, and now Chase Claypool going to the Bears, all you have in that lineup is Deontay Johnson. Yes, you could say you got Kenny Pickens and Kenny Pickett and George Pickens as a wide receiver. But let's just be real. Like, George Pickens ain't established yet. He's a rookie. Kenny Pickett, he is a rookie quarterback. He has so much to do and learn in this league. The Steelers aren't going to be relevant for a couple more years. I don't think they will be relevant for a while. I mean, we all know that because their defense is the bottom of the league at giving up points and stopping anybody. They can't stop a cold. But their offense isn't the greatest either. I mean, you got Najee Harris in the back there. He separated himself last year. And I mean, Steelers had so much dynamic offense a few years ago, starting from Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell. They're all gone now.
And they don't know what to do with themselves. They have no idea what they want to do, what direction they want to go in. I think the Steelers as an organization are lost. I mean, and that happens when you have a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger for years, and he decides to retire, and you weren't entirely prepared for him to retire.
Literally.
And
let's face it, they had Josh Dobbs and Mason Rudolph as their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know what was going through organizational mind there, because you knew it was coming. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, for as good as he was, everybody knew he wasn't going to last forever. No quarterback ever does. And they had no plan for when he left, and they knew it was coming soon, which is they had a whole season to plan for it. They obviously didn't do crap to plan for it. So, I mean, Steelers are definitely in a massive rebuild, and I don't think they know what direction they want to go in. So,
and then
like you said, they're going to be irrelevant for a while.
Yeah, they're gonna be rebuilding for a minute. Still, they're like the Bears right now. They're rebuilding, retooling. So, one last big trade before just some regular drop-off trades. T.J. Hawkinson is now a Viking, and the Detroit Lions have come away with 2 picks. So,
which that one was
weird. It was kind of odd.
I mean, I know the Lions are never really a contender, but
in your division, though, you're gonna trade them in your division
to your rival.
I didn't get that one at all.
For picks, you don't get nothing out of it right now. I mean, that makes 0 sense to me, and that trade just weird. I saw that pop up. It made 0 sense to me. So
they gave both teams a C+ for that deal. So there was really no deal really in there. All they Vikings did was just get T.J. Hawkinson. That's it. I mean,
a Vikings obvious winner on this one. I don't think they should have been even trade at all. I believe Lions aren't going to pick up anything good.
Yeah. I know why the Vikings made that trade is because that Irv Smith Jr. is now their real tight end. Irv Smith Jr. is on the IR. So they had to go get something, and they decided, might as well take TJ Hawk. And the Lions are just done for giving in, They just they're just not the best, but they're not dumb, but they just gave in. I mean, you don't trade in your division, yo.
You're not even you're almost halfway through the season, right? I mean, or are we past that point yet?
We're about to be in week 8. So
okay, so we're right at halfway, and you're gonna. There's still tons of football to play, and like I said, Lions have never really been a contender. I don't even know what their record is right now, but it's probably
they're 1-6.
Yeah, so I mean, they had no chance anyways. But why? That's my why. That makes 0 sense.
It's just mind-boggling. It's just mind-blowing that they traded their division to their rival. And
I mean, if you're going to make a trade least outside your division, or definitely not to your rival. That's just ridiculous. That's
and
to me. If I was on the Lions, or if I was the Lions head coach, who is new, the second year, by the way, um, you're thinking, what in the hell is going on with this organization? That's me. I mean, upper management. That's not a good. I don't like that trade at all, and they don't have very good luck in the draft, to my recollection. So
I mean, they got a good defense. They got a defense, even though they give up like 30 points a game, but their defense is trying to come around at some point. I mean, their offense is better. So
defense wins championships, but offense wins games. And when you don't have an offense and you're trading away your offensive players, you're not going to win any games to get you to win a championship. So,
I mean, like you said it best. I mean, they also got to see them again too, the Vikings, one more time. So, very not the best move. We're just going to run through the trades here to end it. Calvin Ridley traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kadarius Toney from the Giants has been traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. We have Naheem Hines traded from the Indianapolis Colts to the Buffalo Bills. That's a big trade for the Bills right there. They're just adding more to their firepower offense. Jeff Wilson Jr., obviously we was going to see this happen. Jeff Wilson traded to the Miami Dolphins as Christian McCaffrey comes over, which makes sense because Jeff Wilson can be a number one somewhere else. James Robinson has been traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the New York Jets, which is big for them because they just lost their number one running back, Breece Hall, which means they could now put Carter up as the number one and have James Robinson and them to fill in and, have a running back committee. Robbie Anderson has been traded to the Cardinals, and he came from the Panthers. I'm not sure about that trade. The wide receiver core for the Cardinals is already deep. Robbie Anderson isn't really going to play much. I mean, now that DeAndre Hopkins is back, you're going to have Robert Moore out there. You're also going to have AJ Green out there as well with the tight end.
I think that trade just comes from the situation that happened on the sideline with Robbie Anderson and the coach.
Had to get him out of there.
Yeah. They wanted to move him, and so they did.
Makes sense.
Now on the Cardinals side, I don't know why, but now they have an even deeper.
I guess. I mean, you got Marquise Brown, you got AJ Green, you got Zach Ertz, and you have your number one DeAndre Hopkins. So I don't see where Robbie Anderson is really going to come in with there. He's probably going to split time with Robert Moore. Probably, they're going to have a game here where Robbie Anderson plays more, and then you're going to have a game here where Robert Moore plays more. So they're probably going to go back and forth. But
yeah, this was a situation where Carolina was thinking, I'll just get what I can for him, and I don't really care where he goes. I don't care about his career at this point. So, I mean, it's a rough world, but when you do something stupid like that on the sidelines with your coach.
We're just going to give a quick rundown of the college football games. We're not going to really say too much about that. I mean, we're going to, tell you what's happening. The big games, big time games, what you should watch. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of games you should watch, especially starting off with Tennessee and Georgia playing at 3:30 Eastern time. That game will determine who's going to be the number one team in the country. I'm just going to tell you that.
That's going to be the best game. That's going to be game of the year. Forget game of the week. That's going to be a hard-fought game.
Well, that's going to be one game of the year. The game of the year is going to obviously be Michigan, Ohio State. That's going to be the game of the year at the end of the season. But that's a couple weeks away from now. But Tennessee and Georgia, no one's seen Tennessee being this good. So we can't say this is the game of the year. Everybody knew Michigan and Ohio State were going to be really good. They are every year. So
I think, and in this specific game, Georgia, Tennessee, I got to take Georgia on this one.
Yeah, I got to take Georgia too. They're at home.
I mean, you put it the way you just put it. I mean, nobody expected Tennessee to be this good, which maybe they have a little chip on their shoulder or whatever, but Georgia has just been absolutely dominant in the SEC this year, and one of them's got to lose. So
Yeah, one of them got to lose. I mean, me personally, Georgia, they're -8.5. They're -8 favorites. That's kind of big for me. I'm not taking that.
it'll be a field goal.
I would, if you want anything, take the money line on whoever you want to choose, Tennessee or Georgia. I wouldn't take the spread or the points because this game is easily could be turned into a defensive battle or it could be turned into a high scoring affair. But the crazy thing is Georgia's defense is 10 times more elite than Tennessee. So
either way, I think it'll be a field goal that decides it.
True.
Scoring affair or a defensive battle, field goal.
True. Georgia's defense is 10 times more elite than Tennessee's. Tennessee allowed, about 40 points to Bama? Georgia is not that. It's going to be hard to score against Georgia. So we're going to really see what Tennessee is made of. They gave them the number one slot for a reason because they could score the football at anybody and they beat Bama. And they just beat the crap out of Kentucky.
Yep.
So Georgia is a different breed, Tennessee. I'm telling you. Georgia is different.
I mean, there's SEC and then there's Georgia and Alabama. I mean,
yes.
There's Georgia, Alabama, and the rest of the SEC. And not saying that the rest of the SEC is bad by any means, but that's your SEC football gods right there. As far as that's concerned, it's Georgia and Alabama every year, and Tennessee handled Alabama in a outright scoring battle, but
But there were some questions. Definitely a lot of questions on Alabama's defensive side of the ball, which there's a lot of questions. But there's no questions on Georgia's side of the ball defense. So that's the thing right now. That's why I'm picking Georgia. Georgia's defense is for real. Let's just look back at what they've done at the beginning of the season. They've given up only 10 points in the first 3 games. So think about it. The first 3 games they played this season, week 1, week 2, and week 3, they gave up a total of 10 points in 3 weeks. That defense is real. So I'm back to Georgia.
Here's something interesting that just came up. The SEC reviews field access rules after Alabama-Tennessee issue. So, I mean, I think that they're really just preparing for this game this week because, if Tennessee beats Georgia, it's going to be the same thing.
That's the thing.
No, never mind. It's at Georgia. So, I mean, there'll still be Tennessee fans because Tennessee and Georgia are not very far away. Right. But, it's that what happened after the Tennessee-Alabama game in general is a whole different discussion. But, I think the SEC is preparing for something similar in this Georgia.
And the thing about that is it wouldn't be considered an upset if Georgia wins.
No.
So I don't think they'll storm the field, but they are prepared. But I don't think they will storm the field because when Georgia wins game, they don't storm the field at Georgia because they're supposed to win every game. So they're not going to storm the field. They are elite at football, but so Georgia would never have their real home field really stormed on. In other games, we got Alabama visiting LSU. Give me Alabama in that game, but LSU is, coming alive a little bit. They're alive. They're right there. So they coming alive. Texas versus Kansas State. After what Kansas State did last week to Oklahoma State, I had to roll with Kansas State in this one. I like Texas. Texas is cool. They may be favored, but I'm giving Kansas State the nod because of what they did last week to OSU. OSU is real. Spencer Sanders is a Heisman candidate, and they shut them out. They didn't score a point. So give me Kansas State in that. Clemson visits Notre Dame. And you have a big one in Wake Forest versus NC State. Yes, Wake Forest, NC State. They're right evenly matched. But I'm going to give the nod to NC State because they're at home. So
I'm just going to go against you, and I'm just going to say Wake Forest. Have a little bit of diversity here.
True. Yeah. Give me NC State because I'm just going to go NC State because they're at home. So, but the favorite is Wake Forest. They're favored by 4. So,
yeah.
So we're going to jump into hockey. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to, first off, I want to start off by saying the Boston Bruins are on absolute fire right now. They're 9-1. They have the healthiest squad in the entire NHL. They just got Brad Marchand back, and he came back a month earlier than expected. He had a hip surgery, and his first game back, he had 5 points. So,
Nice.
He comes back a month early, and I mean, Brad Marchand is just a beast in general. But the Boston Bruins are most definitely the team to beat right now, and they are absolutely on fire. As far as my Blues go, I'm going to actually share my screen here. We're going to get a highlight here just to show you exactly what happened last night. Oh, you need to allow me to share my screen.
I ain't got to do that. To the loud button. There you go. Yeah. Should be good now.
All right. You able to see it here?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is just how the game went. This is just exactly how the game went for the Blues last night. This is not a goal scored by the Islanders, but it is a penalty that was drawn. Just take a look at Bennington right here. Right here. And yes, that was his own teammate that got a cross-checking penalty for cross-checking an Islander into our goalie and about broke his head off. So that's how the Blues night went last night. It was, same old stuff for them. Starting off great, second period comes around and gives up 4 goals in 10, 12 minutes and could never claw their way back. I will say, though, there was 2 goals. One of them, I'd give it to the refs, tough call to make. Jake Neighbors gets pushed into the net comes off as the puck's crossing the line. So it's, that one I'll give the refs, but there was one that they called back. They originally called a goal on the ice, reviewed it, or Islanders challenged it, and they had like 3 minutes to decide if they wanted to challenge it or not, which is ridiculous to begin with. But, I can talk about the Blues all night, all day, but we're not going to get too far into that because I know that's just a favorite of mine. Last night, Red Wings beat the Capitals 3-1. Golden Knights, another very hot team this year, beat the Ottawa Senators 5-4. Hurricanes beat the Lightning 4-3. And this was a game that I started off watching, and like I said, Bruins are absolutely on fire. They're 9-1. But they beat the New York Rangers, which is supposed to be a top team in the league, right up there with them, which they are. They beat them 5-2. Absolutely handled them. So Kraken beat the Wild again. We had no idea what's going on with the Wild. But Kraken beat the Wild 4-0. Jets beat Canadians 3-2. Your Blackhawks beat the Kings 2-1.
Yes.
This one's kind of interesting.
I'm actually surprised.
Yeah. No, this next one's going to surprise you even more. Nashville Predators beat the Calgary Flames 4-1. And this one too. Oilers lost to the Devils 4-3.
The Oilers, wow. I would say it's hockey. Still early.
Yeah,
teams are going to win, but at the same time, like, what was the over under in that game? The Oilers, I bet you, were heavy favorites. I mean, the Devils are not like the Devils aren't the greatest.
Edmonton, the money line was Edmonton minus 165, and the over under was 7.
I'll show you right there. I mean,
they were heavily favored in that game, but New Jersey Devils decided to actually play this year, I guess. Stars beat Coyotes 7-2. Not really a shocker there, other than the fact that the Stars had had a new goalie in net for them last night. As mentioned previously, their goaltender is injured. He got injured last week, I believe, or earlier this week, one of the two. Canucks beat the Ducks 8-5. That's just fun to say. Panthers and Sharks. Panthers won 4-3. As far as tonight's games, maybe. If I would have
the Avalanche and Blue Jackets taking the ice with the Sabres and Hurricanes.
If I wouldn't have clicked the wrong button. And I left out that my Blues lost 5-2 last night. So I mean, that game, they played hard for all but that 10-minute stretch in the second period. The GM flat out had a meeting with the players on Tuesday, I believe, is when that was. Because they didn't play Tuesday. Yeah, he had a meeting with the players and coaches and flat out told the players that if they don't bring up the competitive level, because that's all it comes down to. I mean, it's not like the Blues. The Blues are the fourth oldest team in the NHL right now, age-wise. They shouldn't be coming out of the locker room after the first intermission and for one last night giving up a goal in 14 seconds. That shouldn't be happening. They should not be coming out of any intermission really not ready to play. Being that they are the fourth oldest team in the NHL, and that in this 6-game stretch, because they're now on a 6-game losing streak, that's what it's been. Is they've just come out not ready to play in the second period, and they get smacked around for it. It happened against the Kings. Kings scored 4 goals in 10 minutes against them earlier this week, and then last night Islanders did it again, 4 goals in 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So. Something's definitely going on with the Blues right now. Keep an eye on that because they're normally a contender. They're normally a team since 2015 or 16, I want to say, have always been in the playoffs or battling for a spot in the playoffs at least. They're not a rebuild type team, and so it's definitely going to be something to look out for because the GM told them that if they didn't want to bring up that competitive level, it wouldn't be the coach that would be leaving. So he has all the faith in the coach and is basically putting the sole blame on the players at this point for not competing. Tomorrow we got Islanders, Red Wings, Avalanche, Blue Jackets, Blackhawks, Jets, Stars, Oilers, Golden Knights, Canadians, Flyers, Senators, Kraken and Penguins, Sabres and Lightning, Bruins and Maple Leafs, Coyotes and Capitals, Devils and Flames, Predators and Canucks, Panthers and Kings, Ducks and Sharks. And tonight's game should be pretty straightforward. Avalanche and Hurricane are going to win their games. Both the Hurricanes and Sabres is going to be on ESPN Plus at 6 o'clock. Avalanche and Blue Jackets are going to be on NHL at 1 p.m. tonight. Oh, that game's actually getting ready to get started. That game's in 16 minutes if you want to catch that on NHL Network.
Cool. Well, I'm going to do it for this episode. Just me and Donovan today. Billy had some things come up, and DC's obviously doing some things. He has work. So we're going to give you everything we got, and appreciate you all for tuning in. Sorry we couldn't have DC's Heisman today. Fridays, but he'll give it to you on Monday. And yeah, let us know what you think of this episode. Let us know what your picks are. Let us know what you want to hear from us, and let us know what kind of ideas you have for us, so we can, better this channel and better, this podcast. I'm trying to get us on Apple Music, but Apple Podcasts. Let's see if I could get us on Spotify as well. Just get the audio out there, in more platforms. Let it grow a little more. Go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe, obviously, and definitely hit us up.
Follow our social medias as well.
Sure, follow our social medias. That's going to be in the description box below, or right at the end of this video as well. All of the Instagrams are going to be on there, including our podcast page. Oh yeah, and one more thing, that me and Billy were on In the Zone for our school sports division channel, to sports division show on Wednesday. So that's going to release on Monday. It's me and Billy's first time on actual television in front of cameras for the first time together, and we're going to try to get that going as much as possible. But it's the first time for me being in front of an actual live camera with audio and equipped with it, reading and talking about sports on live television. So that's going to be premiered on In the Zone on Monday at 12 p.m. If you can't catch it, I will be on Instagram, and I will put that in our podcast channel, in our podcast Instagram page, or the link for that as well. So appreciate you all for tuning in, and this is Shot of Sports. Thank y'all for tuning in. See ya.
See you.
We can see the stars, can see the stars.